Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
So, continuing, Canto 8, Withdrawal of the Cosmic Creations. Chapter 17, the Supreme Lord agrees to become Aditya's son, text 25. Shri Brahma Vacha Jayo Rugaya Bhagavan
Rupaya
Urukrama Namostute Namo Brahmanya Devaya Trigunaya Namo Namaha. Lord Brahma said, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, all glories unto you, who are glorified by all and whose activities are all uncommon. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you, O Lord of the Transcendentalists, controller of the three modes of nature. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you again and again. O Lord Brahma's prayers. Text 26. Namaste Prishni Garbhaya
Namaste Prishni Garbhaya
Veda Garbhaya Vedase
Vedagarbhaya Vedase
Trinabhaya Tripristaya
Triyambhaya Tripastaya
Sipi Vistaya Vishnave.
Vivistaya Vishnave.
I offer my respectful obeisances unto you, the all-pervading Lord Vishnu, who have entered the cause of the hearts of all living entities. All the three worlds reside within your navel, yet you are above the three worlds. Formerly you appeared as the son of Krishna. To you, the Supreme Creator, who are understood only through Vedic knowledge, I offer my respectful obeisances. Text 27. Tvam Adiranto Bhuvanasya Madhyam
Tvam Viranto Bhuvanasya Madhyam
Ananta Shaktim Purusham Yamahu
Adhananta Shakti Purushahu
Kalo Bhavanakshipati Vishwam
Kalo Shipatisha Vishwam
Shroto Yatanta Patitam Yaviram.
Soto Vitata Patitam Kairam.
O my Lord, you are the beginning, manifestation, and the ultimate dissolution of the three worlds, and you are celebrated in the Vedas as the reservoir of unlimited potencies, the Supreme Person. O my Lord, as waves attract branches and leaves that have fallen into deep water, you, the Supreme Eternal Time Factor, attract everything in this universe. Text 28. Tvam Vajanam Sthirajangamanam
Tam Vajanam Stirajangamanam
Prajapatinam Asisam Vishnu
Prajatinam Asisam Vishnu
Divokasham Deva Divaschutanam
Devokasham Deva Divaschutanam
Parayanam No Iva Majjato Psu.
Parayanam Nor Iva Majjatu.
My Lord, you are the original generator of all living entities, stationary or moving, and you are also the generator of the Prajapatis. O my Lord, as a boat is the only hope for a person drowning in the water, you are the only shelter for the demigods, who are now bereft of their heavenly position. So when the Lord appeared, Brahma is now offering his prayers and asking for help also. Thus end Bhaktivedanta purpose of the 8th Canto, 17th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled The Supreme Lord Agrees to Become Aditi's Son. Chapter 18, Lord Vamana Deva, the dwarf incarnation. So he appears and all the demigods worship him and give him gifts, and then he goes to Bali Maharaj to beg an alms. Text 1, Sri Sukha Vacha Ittam Virincha Sutta Karma Virya Pradu Babu Vamritabur Adityam Chaturbhuja Shankha Gadabja Chakraha
Chaturbhuja Shankagadaabja Chakraha
Vishangavasa Nalinaya Dekshana.
Vishangavasa Yalinaya.
Sukadeva Goswami said, after Lord Brahma had thus spoken, glorifying the Supreme Lord's activities and powers, the Supreme Personality of Godhead was never subject to death like an ordinary living being appeared from the womb of Aditi. His four hands were decorated with a conch shell, club, lotus, and disc. He was dressed in yellow garments, and his eyes appeared like the petals of a blooming lotus. The word Amritabhu is significant in this verse. Prabhupada says, the Lord sometimes appears like an ordinary child taking birth, but this does not mean that he is subject to birth, death, or old age. One must be very intelligent to understand the appearance and activities of the Supreme Lord in his incarnations. So Prabhupada always quotes this verse, Janma Karma Cha Mediti. Mainly he wants us to understand why the Lord appears and why he performs these activities. We have to appreciate because he's coming actually for us to help us get liberated. Text 2. Shyama Vadato Jasaraja Kundala
Shama Vadato Jasaraja Kundala
Vishulat Sachri Vadanambuja Puma Sri Vatsavaksha Balayanga Dollasat Kirita Kanchi Gunacharu Nupura. The body of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, blackish in complexion, was free from all inebrities. His lotus face, decorated with earrings resembling sharks, appeared very beautiful, and on his bosom was a mark of Sri Vatsa. He wore bangles on his wrists, armlets on his arms, a helmet on his head, a belt on his waist, a sacred thread across his chest, and ankle bells decorating his lotus feet. So again is a description of the Lord, how he appears, how he looks. Text 3. Madhuvrata vrata vigustaya swayam virajita Shri Vanamalaya Hari Prajapate Vishma Tamasvarochisa Vinashayam Kanta Nivishta Kustubha. An uncommonly beautiful garland of flowers decorated his bosom, and because the flowers were extremely fragrant, a large group of bees, making their natural humming sounds, invaded them for honey. When the Lord appeared wearing the Kostuba gem on his neck, his effulgence vanquished the darkness in the home of the Prajapati Kashyapa. So he's looking very effulgent and beautiful. Text 4. Disha Prashedu Shalila Shayastada Praja Prarishta Rita Vogunanvita Yarantariksham Shitir Agni Jiva Gavo Dijashan Jarishur Nagascha. At that time there was happiness in all directions, in the reservoirs of water like the rivers and oceans, and in the core of everyone's heart. The various seasons displayed their respective qualities, and all living entities in the upper planetary system, in outer space, and on the surface of the earth were jubilant. The demigods, the cows, the brahmanas, and the hills and mountains were all filled with joy. So every time the Lord appears, only nice things happen and favorable things happens. That's 5. Shronayam Shravana Dvadasyam Muhurte Bijiti Prabhu
Muhurte Vijiti Prabhu
Sarve Nakshatra Taradya
Sarve Nakshatra
Chakrus Tajjanma Dakshinam.
Chakrusarjanam.
On the day of Shravana Dwadashi, the 12th day of the bright fortnight in the month of Bhadra, when the moon came into the lunar mansion Shravana, at the auspicious moment of Abhijit, the Lord appeared in this universe. Considering the Lord's appearance very auspicious, all the stars and planets from the sun to Saturn were munificently charitable. They were all shining very nicely. So in the purport, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains he is an expert astrologer. So he says the word nakshatra taradya. Nakshatra means the stars, and the word tara in this context refers to the planets, and adyaha means the first one specifically mentioned. Among the planets, the first is Surya, the sun, not the moon. So based on this Vedic reasoning, Prabhupada says the moon is nearest to the moon is not nearer to earth. First is sun, then the moon, like that. And then he gives another reason for why. The chronological order in which people all over the world refer to the days of the week is Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And that corresponds to the Vedic order of the planets. And thus circumstantiates the Vedic version. Right? So because the day of the week is based on the planet's position. Apart from this, when the Lord appeared, the planets and stars became situated very auspiciously according to astrological calculations to celebrate the birth of the Lord. So even at that auspicious moment, all the celestial planets all aligned in auspicious position and shone brightly. Text 6. Dvadasyam saveta tistan
Dvadasham Savitastam
Madhyandina gato nipa
Madhyandina Gato Nripa
Vijaya nama sa prokta
Vijayanam Saprokta
Yasyam janma vidur hare.
Yasyam Janam Vidurhari.
O King, when the Lord appeared on Dwadasi, the 12th day of the moon, the sun was at the meridian. As every learned scholar knows, this Dwadasi is called Vijaya. Vijaya Dwadasi. Text 7. Sankadundubbayo nedur Mritanga Panavanakaha Chitravaditra Turyana Nirgoshastumulo Bhava. Conch shells, kettle drums, panavas, and anakas vibrated in concert. The sound of this and various other instruments was tumultuous, very loud. Text 8. Pritas chapsaraso nirtyan Gandharva pravarajabu Tustuvo munayo deva Manava pitaroknaya. Being very pleased, the celestial dancing girls, Apsaras, danced in jubilation. The best of the Gandharvas sang songs, and the great sages, demigods, Manus, Pitas, and fire gods offered prayers to satisfy the Lord. Texts 9 and 10. Siddha Vidhadara Ganaha Sakim Purusha Kinnaraha Charana Yaksha Rakshamsi Suparna Bhujagottamaha Gayanto Tiprashamshanto Nityanto Vibhudanugaha Adityashrama Padam Kusumai Samavakiran. The Siddhas, Vidyadharas, Kimpurushas, Kinnaras, Charanas, Yakshas, Rakshasas, Suparnas, the best of the serpents and the followers other demigods all showered flowers on Aditi's residence, covering the entire house while glorifying and praising the Lord and dancing. Very joyous, very festive. Text 11. Disvaditistam nijagarva sambhavam
Vishwamidistam nijagarva sambhavam
param pumamsam mudamapa vishmita
param pumamsam mudamapa vishmitam
hita deham nija yoga mayaya
Hridayam nija yogamaya
prajapatischaha jayati vishmita. When Aditi saw the Supreme Personality of Godhead who had appeared from her own womb, having accepted a transcendental body by his own spiritual potency, she was struck with wonder and was very happy. Upon seeing the child, Prajapati Kashyapa exclaimed, Jai Jai, in great happiness and wonder. Text 12. Yatta vapubhati vibhushanayudair avyakta chityakta madara yaddari babhuvatenaiva savamanovatu sampasyato divyagati yadanata. The Lord appeared in his original form with ornaments and weapons in his hands. Although this ever-existing form is not visible in the material world, he nonetheless appeared in this form. Then, in the presence of his father and mother, he assumed the form of Vamana, a Brahmana dwarf, a brahmachari, just like a theatrical actor. So therefore, Prabhupada says, Nataha is significant because he is acting. Why? Because he keeps changing different forms. He's the same person, but he has so many different avatars and different types of forms. Prabhupada quotes from Brahma Samhita, 2 verses, Advaitam Achyutam, and the other one is Ramadi Murteshu Kalaniyamana Tista. Nonetheless, Prabhupada says, although he appears in various incarnations, they are not different from one another. He is the same person, with the same potency, the same eternity, and the same spiritual existence, but he can simultaneously assume various forms. When Vamana Deva appeared from the womb of his mother, he appeared in the form of Narayana with 4 hands equipped with the necessary symbolic weapons, and then immediately transformed himself into a brahmachari, Vatu. This means that his body is not material. One who thinks that the Supreme Lord assumes a material body is not intelligent. He has to learn more about the Lord's position, which means you have to read a lot, chant nicely, do service. If you are Brahmana, then you should do deity worship, like that. Then you will understand the transcendental position of the Lord, and then you will understand the verse Janma Karma Cha Me Devya. Okay. And then we understand that he has his transcendental body, it's not material body. Okay, text 13. Tam vatum vamanam dritsva modamana maharishaya karmani karayamasu puraskritya prajapati. When the great sages saw the Lord as the brahmachari dwarf Vamana, they were certainly very pleased. Thus they placed before them Kashyapa Muni, the Prajapati, and performed all the ritualistic ceremonies such as the birthday ceremony. Here, because he's a young boy, they will also do the thread ceremony. Okay. And generally in India, the Keralians, they worship Vamana more dearly than the other parts of the world.
No, we do the Bali Maharaj.
Huh? No.
Because
Vamana they worship.
because they think Bali is for their king, and they have a Vamana actually, Vishnu actually put him down kind of thing. They start with it.
Not like that. They worship. Actually, they worship. The other group maybe, but most of them worship Vamana. Yeah. Text 14. Tasyopaniyamanasya
Tasyopaniyamaanasya
Savitrim Savita Bravi
Savitrim Savita Bravi
Brihaspati Brahma Sutram
Brihaspati Brahma Sutram
Mekalam Kasyapo Dada.
Mekalam Kasyapo Dada.
At the sacred thread ceremony of Vamana Deva, the sun god personally uttered the Gayatri mantra. Brihaspati offered the sacred thread and Kashyapa Muni offered a straw belt. Text 15. So everyone is now giving gifts. It's like his birthday. Text 15. Dadao Krishna Jinam Bhumi Dandam Somo Vanaspati
Dadam Somo Vanaspati
Kaupinachadanam Mata
Gopinachadam Mata
Duschatram Jagatapate.
Dhammasatram Jagatapati.
Mother gave him a deerskin, and the demigod of the moon, who is the king of the forest, gave him a Brahma Danda, the rod of a brahmachari. His mother Aditi gave him cloth for underwear, and the deity presiding over the heavenly kingdom offered him an umbrella. So all these are auspicious items. Text 16. Kamandalum Veda Garbha
Kamandalam Veda Garbha
Kushan Sabda Rishayo Dadu
Kusan Saptarashyo
Akshamalam Maharaja
Akshamalam Maharaja
Saraswati Avyayatmanaha.
Saraswati Avyayatmanaha.
O King, Lord Brahma offered a water pot to the inexhaustible Supreme Personality of Godhead. The 7 sages offered him kusha grass, and Mother Saraswati gave him a string of Rudraksha beads. Text 17. Yeah.
So, who's the presiding deity of the heavenly kingdom?
Indra.
So he came, he was hiding, right?
Yeah, they all came, no? All the demigods came. Text 17. Tasmaiti upanitaya yakshara patrikam ada bhiksham bhagavati shaksha umadad ambika sati. When Vamanadev had thus been given the sacred thread, Kubera, king of the Yakshas, gave him a pot for begging alms, and Mother Bhagavati, the wife of Lord Shiva and most chaste mother of the entire universe, gave him his first alms. So she's the first one to give him something, dakshin or something. Text 18. Sa Brahma Vachase Naivam Sabam Sambhavito Vatuhu Brahma Rishi Gana Sanjustam Atyarochatamarishah. Having thus been welcomed by everyone, Lord Vamanadeva, the best of the brahmacharis, exhibited his Brahman effulgence. Thus he surpassed in beauty that entire assembly, which was filled with great saintly brahmanas. So Vamanadeva is very beautiful. His form is very beautiful. Okay? He's one of the most beautiful avatars. Text 19. Sammiddham ahitam vanim kritva parisammuhanam paristirya samabhyarcha samidbir ajuhodvijaha. After Lord Sri Vamanadev set a sacrificial fire, he offered worship and performed a fire sacrifice on the sacrificial field. So immediately he did his yajna. Text 20. Sutva Svameda Yajamanamurjitam Balim Brigunam Upakalpitaistata Jagama Tatra Kilasara Sambrito Varena Gamsan Namayan Pade Pade. And the Lord heard that Bali Maharaj was performing Ashwamedha sacrifices under the patronage of Brahmanas belonging to the Bhrigu dynasty. The Supreme Lord, who is full in every respect, proceeded there to show his mercy to Bali Maharaj. By his weight, he pushed down this earth with every step. So when he walked, there's impressions, boom, but not like loud, but just his weight was so heavy. Basically means even though he looks small, he's actually a very powerful being, hiding his strength like that. And the Prabhupada says the Supreme Personality of Godhead is Akila Sara Sambrita, the essence of all creations. In other words, he is the proprietor of everything essential in this material world. Right? Thus, although the Lord was going to Bali Maharaj to beg something, he is always complete and has nothing to beg from anyone. Right? He doesn't need it actually, but he's just going there for what reason? Deliver him, to give him mercy. Right. So therefore, he's so powerful in his full opulence. He pressed down the surface of the earth at every step. Verse 21. Tam narmadayas tata uttare baler yarit vijaste brigukaccha samyake pravartayanto brigavakratuttamam Nachakshatara uditam yataravim. While engaged in performing the sacrifice in the field known as Brigu Kacha on the northern bank of Narmada river, the Brahminical priests, the descendants of Brigu, saw Vamana Dev to be like the sun rising nearby. It's a self-effulgent. So where is this Narmada river? Gujarat.
Passing through Gujarat.
Passing
Actually, Madhya Pradesh.
Madhya Pradesh. No. Text 22. Teri Vijo Yajamana Sadasya Hatati Shobha Manate Jasanipa Surya Kilayati Utava Vibhavasu Sanat Kumaro Tadidrikshaya Krato. O king, because of Vamana Deva's bright effulgence, the priests, along with Bali Maharaj and all the members of the assembly, were robbed of their splendor. Thus they began to ask one another whether the sun god himself, Sanat Kumara, or the fire god, had personally come to see the sacrificial ceremony. So effulgent.
Too much light.
Too much light. Like in the darkness, somebody has torchlight, then everybody can see that. It's something like that. Text 23. Itam sashiyeshu brigushvanekada Vitakyamano Bhagavan Savamana Chatram Sadandam Sajalam Kamandalum Vivesha Vibradaya Medavatam. While the priests of the Bhrigu dynasty and their disciples talked and argued in various ways, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vamana Deva, holding in his hands the rod, the umbrella, and a water pot full of water, entered the arena of the Ashwamedha sacrifice. So he's a lot to carry also. No? water pot full of water. Interesting. Text 24-25. Maunjya me kalaya vitam upavita dinottaram jatilam vamanam vipram madhyamanavakam harim Pravistam viksha bringavaha Sashishyaste sahatnibihi Pratyagrinan samuttaya Sanshiptas tasya tejasa Appearing as a Brahmana boy wearing a belt of straw, a sacred thread, an upper garment of deer skin, and matted locks of hair, Lord Vamanadev entered the arena of sacrifice. His brilliant effulgence diminished the brilliance of all the priests and their disciples, who thus stood from their seats and welcomed the Lord properly by offering obeisances. So it's simply by looking at him, they realize he's more advanced than they are. Right? Just like when Sukadev Goswami came, everyone stood up and they could see this person was extraordinary. Even though there was Vyasadeva and Narada Muni, they turned to Sukadev Goswami to give them the proper understanding. But of course, Vyasadeva and Narada Muni did not stand up to welcome because he is their disciple. Text 26.
So Prabhuji here, good dynasty priests, so they were from the demon side?
They support both, yeah.
The Brahmanas?
Yeah.
In that Daksha, the fighting, Bhrigu was against Lord Shiva, right? I forgot.
Not
Okay.
Daksha fighting. What Daksha?
He was there also, right? They were cursing and counter cursing.
Yeah, but Shiva wasn't fighting.
No, not Lord Shiva. They
Cursing.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know.
Yes.
They were cursing Lord Shiva.
Yeah. Lord Shiva's followers
They were
curse
cursing
back.
back and forth.
Actually, the broke his tooth
No,
or eye,
tooth.
something.
Yeah, tooth and eye also. No? Anyway. Text 26. Yajamana pramudito Darshaniyam manoramam Rupanurupa Vyavam Tasma asanam ahara Bali Maharaj, jubilant at seeing Lord Vamadev, whose beautiful limbs contributed equally to the beauty of his entire body, offered him a seat with great satisfaction. Right? He could see there's something special. Text 27. Swagatena vinanjata Pado Bhagavato Bali Avinijyarchayam Asa Mukta Sangha Manoramam. Thus offering a proper reception to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is always beautiful to the liberated souls, Bali Maharaj worshipped him by washing his lotus feet. That's like deity worship. You ask the Lord to come to the place for worship, you say Swagatam tu, Swagatam te, then you bring him, then Idam Asanam, like that. So just like that. So now he's washing his lotus feet. Bali Maharaj, text 28. Tatpada Socham Jana Kalma Sapaham. Is that right? Tatpada Socham Jana Kalma Sapaham. Sadharma Vinmurni Adadatsu Mangalam. Yadeva Devo Girishas Chandramoli. Dadaramudna paraya cha bhaktya. Lord Shiva, the best of demigods, who carries on his forehead the emblem of the moon, receives on his head with great devotion the Ganges water emanating from the toe of Vishnu. Being aware of religious principles, Bali Maharaj knew this. Consequently, following the footsteps of Lord Shiva, he also placed on his head the water that had washed the Lord's lotus feet. So he was doing, whenever you wash the feet of a sadhu and so on, it's like washing the Lord's feet, and then you take blessings like that. Lord Shiva is known as Gangadhara, one who carries the water of the Ganges on his head. On Lord Shiva's forehead is the emblem of the half moon. Yet to give supreme respect to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Shiva placed the water of the Ganges above this emblem. This example should be followed by everyone, or at least by every devotee, because Lord Shiva is one of the Mahajanas. Similarly, Maharaj Bali also later became a Mahajana. One Mahajana follows another Mahajana. And by following the Parampara system of Mahajana activities, one can become advanced in spiritual consciousness. So we should follow Srila Prabhupada's teachings because he is a Mahajana. And also Prabhupada highlights the water of the Ganges is sanctified because it emanates from the toe of Lord Vishnu. Bali Maharaj washed the lotus feet of Vamanadev, and the water with which he did so became equal to Ganges. Bali Maharaj, who perfectly knew all religious principles, therefore took the water on his head, following in the footsteps of Lord Shiva. Text 29. Shri Balir Vacha Swagatam Te Namastubhyam Brahman Kim Karavamate Brahma Rishinam Tapa Shakshan Manye Tvarya Vapurdaram. Bali Maharaj then said to Lord Vamanadev, O Brahmana, I offer you my hearty welcome and my respectful obeisances. Please let us know what we may do for you. We think of you as the personified austerity of the great Brahmana sages. Text 30, he continues. Adyana pitara stripta Adyana pavitam kulam Adya svista kraturayam Yat bhavan agato grihan. O my Lord, because you have kindly arrived at our home, all my forefathers are satisfied, our family and entire dynasty have been sanctified, and the sacrifice we are performing is now complete because of your presence. Adhyatmayo me suhuta yatha vidhi Dvijatmaja tvaccharanavane janai Atang haso vardi iyum cha buraho Tata punita tanubi padaistava. O son of a Brahmana, today the fire of sacrifice is ablaze according to the injunction of the Shastra, and I have been freed from all the sinful reactions of my life by the water that has washed your lotus feet. O my Lord, by the touch of your small lotus feet, the entire surface of the world has been sanctified. A nice prayers. Text 32. Yad yad vato vanchasi tat praticcha me Tvammatinam viprasutanu tarkaye Gam kanchanam gunavadamamristam Tatannapeyam utava viprakanyam Ramam samriddham turadanga Ratam tatarhattama sampraticha. O son of a Brahmana, it appears that you have come here to ask me for something. Therefore, whatever you want, you may take from me. The best of those who are worshipable, you may take from me a cow, gold, a furnished house, palatable food and drink, the daughter of a Brahmana for your wife, prosperous villages, horses, elephants, chariots, or whatever you desire. That's the end of Bhakti and the purpose of the 8th canto, 18th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam entitled Lord Vamanadev, the dwarf incarnation. So you see the etiquette the kings do in those days. The Brahmanas, they give them anything they want. Nowadays, the Brahmanas cannot get anything they want. So they resort to bad things. So they cheat. So you can see, the bad qualities come out.
charge a lot.
So they will say, they do some formula. You have to pay so much, think of a number, and all those silly things they do. And now you go to India. So the Brahminical cultures become so sad because
Fixed charge.
nobody is protecting them.
Fixed charge for different pujas.
The previous sloka said that he placed the Ganges water above the emblem of the moon. Why is that?
Out of respect for the Lord, Vishnu. It's said there in the purport. The Ganges is washed from the Lord's feet, so it's above the moon symbol.
Why should be above the moon?
Out of respect for the Lord. Think about it for a while.
I don't understand.
Yeah, think about it for a little bit. Text 90 and chapter 19. Lord Vamanadev begs charity from Bali Maharaj.
Whatever condition, right?
Huh?
Yeah, he said he would give so many, but whatever.
Yeah,
So whatever.
whatever you desire. So maybe it's something that I have not said. Whatever you want. So then now the Lord is going to beg charity from Bali Maharaj. So this is the highlight of the meeting. Text 1. Sri Sukha Vacha Iti Vairojane Vakyam Dharma Yuktam Sasundritam Nisamya Bhagavan Prita Dinandetam Abravi. Sukadeva Goswami continued. When the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vamanadeva, heard Bali Maharaj speaking in this pleasing way, he was very satisfied. For Bali Maharaj had spoken in terms of religious principles. Thus the Lord began to praise him. So basically, he gave his word that whatever you want, I will please you. Because you are a Brahmana and I will please you. Text 2. Sri Bhagavan Vacha Vachastavaita Janadeva Sunritam Kulochitam Dharma Yutam Yachaskaram Yasya Pramanam Brigava Samparaye Pitamaha Kula Vrida Prashantaha. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, O King, you are indeed exalted because your present advisors are the Brahmanas who are descendants of Bhrigu, and because your instructor for your future life is your grandfather, the peaceful and venerable Prahlad Maharaj. Your statements are very true and they completely agree with religious etiquette. They are in keeping with the behavior of your family and they enhance your reputation. Basically, Prahlad Maharaj is his instructor, his guru, like that, in spiritual and religious topics. Prabhupada writes, Prahlad Maharaj is a vivid example of a pure devotee. Someone might argue that since Prahlad Maharaj, even though very old, was attached to his family, and specifically to his grandson Bali Maharaj, how could he be an ideal example? Therefore, this verse uses the word prashantaha. It means a devotee is always sober, never disturbed in any condition. Even if a devotee remains in grihastha life and does not renounce material possessions, he should still be understood to be prashanta, sober, because of his pure devotion to the Lord. So in Chaitanya Charitamrita, there is a personality who had so much wealth.
Pundarik Vidyanati.
Pundarik Vidyanati also. So when Gadadhar Pandit went and he thought, what is this guy actually? But as soon as the Bhagavatam was recited, he went into ecstasy, the love of God. So, main point Srila Prabhupada wants to say is you can be in any status or order of life, but if you know the signs of Krishna, then you are qualified to teach or preach to people. So, Prahlad Maharaj is a guru in all circumstances. It's not that because he belongs to a family of a demon or daityas like that, he cannot be a guru, not like that. So here in the last paragraph, Prabhupada says, His Lordship Vamanadev also teaches sannyasis and brahmacharis that one should not ask more than necessary. He wanted only 3 paces of land. All the Bali Maharaj wanted to give him anything he wanted. So we haven't seen that yet, but Prabhupada is highlighting that he's going to teach all of us how to beg if you beg. Text 3. Nahi etasmin kule kaschin nishatva kripana puman pratyakyata pratistrutya yovadata dvijataye. I know that even until now, no one taking birth in your family has been poor-minded or miserly. No one has refused to give charity to brahmanas. Nor after promising to give charity has anyone failed to fulfill his promise. So all the way from Prahlad Maharaj to Bali Maharaj, they never refuse. So they are very exalted. Text 4. Na shanti tirte yudicharti natita Paramuka yetu amanasvino nipa Yusmat kuleya yashashamalina Pradada udbhati yato dupake. King Bali, never in your dynasty or dynasty has the low-minded king been born who, upon being requested, has refused charity to brahmanas in holy places or a fight to Kshatriyas on a battlefield. And your dynasty is even more glorious due to the presence of Prahlad Maharaj, who is like the beautiful moon in the sky.
He referred to Hiranyaksha.
Yeah, he also was very good to the brahmanas, but he forced the brahmanas.
And he never battled, he was very valorous in fighting.
Yes.
He never ran.
Yeah. That's right. So here, of course, in the Bhagavad Gita, you check the qualities of a Kshatriya, and then one of the qualifications is the willingness to give charity, dana. A Kshatriya does not refuse to give charity when requested by a Brahmana, nor can he refuse to fight another Kshatriya. A king who does refuse is called low-minded. In the dynasty of Bali Maharaj, there were no such low-minded kings. Alright. So if somebody asks you charity, you can say you're not a Kshatriya. But if Krishna asks you, you better give now. Text 5. Yato jato hiranyaksha Charaneka imam mahim Prativiram dikvijaye Navingata gada yudaha. It was in your dynasty that Hiranyaksha was born. Carrying only his own club, he wandered the globe alone without assistance to conquer all directions, and no hero he met could rival him. He was very strong. Text 6. Yam vinijitya krichrena
Yamnirjitya Krishna
Vishnu Shimoddara Agatam
Vishnu Kshodharagatam
Atmanam Jainam Mene
Atmanam Jainam Mene
Tatviryam Bhuri Anusmaran.
Tadviryam Bhuyanusvaram.
When delivering the earth from the Garbhodaka sea, Lord Vishnu in his incarnation as a boar killed Hiranyaksha who had appeared before him. The fight was severe and the Lord killed Hiranyaksha with great difficulty. Actually, in the past time, it's not like that. Later, as the Lord thought about the uncommon powers of Hiranyaksha, he felt himself victorious indeed.
Niti Shastra says that when you go to austerity,
Yeah,
you always speak pleasing and praising words. So even if the
Yeah, you're
story
begging,
is
so- you just put some more butter and jam, make it more palatable, like that. So that's what the Lord is doing. Maybe a little bit flattering him. Yeah. Text 7. Nisamyatadvadam brata
Samyatadvadam brata
Hiranyakashipu pura
Hiranyakashipura
Antum bratrir hanam kruddo
Antumatrirham Kruddho
Jagamanilayam hare.
Jagamayam Harim.
When Hiranyakashipu had the news of his brothers being killed, with great anger he went to the residence of Vishnu, the killer of his brother, wanting to kill Lord Vishnu. See how powerful these demons are. Huh? They will go right to the Lord's abode, So it's interesting how he can come to the abode when others cannot even reach the abode. So it begs a question. Devotees have to struggle to get the mercy of the Lord, but these guys can just go straight.
He is favored by the demigods because all the demigods are scared by him.
Yeah, but still, the Lord allowed him to come to his residence. That's what I'm saying.
He knows that as his previous life.
Yeah, but still, Next 8. Tamayantam samalokya
Tamayantam samalokya
Sulapanim kritantava
Sulapanim kritantava
Chintayamasa kalatnyo
Chintayamasa kalajño
Vishnurmaya vinamvaraha.
Vishnurmaya vinambaraha.
Seeing Hiranyakashipu coming forward bearing a trident in his hand like personified death, Lord Vishnu, the best of all mystics and the knower of the progress of time, thought as follows. Text 9. Yato yatoham tatrasau
Yato yatoham tatrasau
Mrityu prana pritham iva
Mrityu pranamritam iva
Atoham asya hridayam
Atoham asya hridayam
Pravikshyami paradrishaha.
Praveshyami paradrishaha.
Wheresoever I go, Hiranyakashipu will follow me as death follows all living entities. Therefore, it is better for me to enter the core of his heart, for then, because of his power to see only externally, he will not see me. It's kind of sounds silly, but then the Lord's pastime. Text 10. Evam sanishchitya ripo shariram
Evam sanishchitya ripo shariram
Adavato nirvivishe surendra
Adavato nirvivishe surendra
Sasanilantarhita sukshma deha
Sasanilantarhita sukshma deha
Tatpranarandrena vivikna chetaha.
Tatpranarandrena vivikna chetaha.
Lord Vamanadeva continued, O king of the demons, after Lord Vishnu made this decision, he entered the body of his enemy Hiranyakashipu, who was running after him with great force. In a subtle body inconceivable to Hiranyakashipu, Lord Vishnu, who was in great anxiety, entered Hiranyakashipu's nostril along with his breath. Now, he's saying it to, just to please the deities. That they think they are so strong, even Vishnu was running away like that. Right? So in the purport, Prabhupada says, Krishna is already in everyone's heart, so he doesn't need to do that. So logically, therefore, it was not at all difficult for Lord Vishnu to enter Hiranyakashipu's body. The word Vivikna Chetaha, very anxious, is significant. It is not that the Lord Vishnu was afraid of Hiranyakashipu. Rather, because of compassion, Lord Vishnu was in anxiety about how to act for his welfare. Thanks, 11. Satanniketam parimrishya sunyam
Satanniketam parimrishya shunyam
apasyamana kupito nanada
tapashyamana kupito nanada
Shakshmam dyam dishakam vivaran samudran
Shyamam dayakam vivaran samudram
Vishnum vichimbana dadrasha viraha.
Vishnum vijinvana dadarashaviraha.
Upon seeing that the residence of Lord Vishnu was vacant, Hiranyakashipu began searching for Lord Vishnu everywhere. Angry at not seeing him, Hiranyakashipu screamed loudly and searched the entire universe, including the surface of the earth, the higher planetary systems, all directions, and all the caves and oceans. But Hiranyakashipu, the greatest hero, did not see Vishnu anywhere. Right? Unless the Lord wants to let you see, you cannot see. But of course, he is thinking that he has made Vishnu run away. Yeah,
So he went to everywhere, so Sarvaloka and
Yeah, he has all the power to go. Yeah, he got all the full blessing, right? Even before that, he had a lot of power.
All the weather was being controlled just by his eyebrow, and earth would yield crops without even tilling the land, just with outside of it.
His potency. Yeah. Text 12. Apasyanidhi hovacha.
Apasyanidhi hovacha.
Manyan vistamidam jagat.
Manyan vistamidam jagat.
Ratriha me gato nunam.
Ratriha me gato nunam.
Yato na vartate puman.
Yato na vartate puman.
Unable to see him, Hiranyakashipu said, I have searched the entire universe, but I could not find Vishnu, who has killed my brother. Therefore, he must certainly have gone to that place from which no one returns. In other words, he must now be dead. That's how the atheists and demons think. So Prabhupada says, atheists generally follow the Buddhist philosophical conclusion that at death everything is finished. Hiranyakashipu, being an atheist, thought this way. Because Lord Vishnu was not visible to him, he thought that the Lord was dead. Even today, many people follow the philosophy that God is dead. Yes, true. But God is never dead. Even the living entity who is part of God never dies. So that's a statement from Bhagavad Gita. So we should know, Krishna himself says they don't die, so how can he himself die? Even the ordinary living entity never takes birth or dies. But that is to be said of what then is to be said of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the chief of all living entities. He certainly never takes birth or dies. Ajopi san, avyayatma, bhutanam, ishwaropi san. So there he says that his body never deteriorates. Both the Lord and the living entity exist as unborn and inexhaustible personalities. Thus, Hiranyakashipu's conclusion that Vishnu was dead was wrong. So even though he knows the Vedas, he doesn't understand that the Supreme Lord is transcendental. That's interesting. So they use the Vedas for their own material and sense gratification.
You remember Rajneesh who came to Portland, Oregon and all that?
Rajini?
You're in the 70s.
70s, yes. Yeah. Portland. Right.
You're a big Bhagwan.
Don't even use
Or
that term.
Rajneesh.
He called himself that.
Osho.
Yeah,
Osho.
Osho. In his book, he actually says God is dead.
And he is the new
I
God.
was in college back then, and then.
What is a foolish?
Huh?
It's a lack of knowledge, ignorance, because they are not trained and because they have not experienced in their life the godliness in a saintly person nor in their own lives. Therefore, they say there's no God. That's a sad thing.
The
Anyway.
watchmaker theory, right? God existed at one point,
He created the world.
and then he died. Yeah, some people say that. Yeah.
So here Hiranyakasipu is considering Vishnu as an ordinary living entity
living
who
entity.
dies and
Yes.
takes another birth.
Yeah.
That's how he's thinking. Mostly atheist people, or at least you read in the Mayavadis and so on, they all think like that. They think if Vishnu or Krishna comes, they've taken a material body. They can't accept that he is immortal.
Abhijananti Mamura.
Otherwise, why would he fight?
Huh?
Otherwise, why would he fight?
Why would he fight? In the middle of the next paragraph, Prabhupada writes, if a bhakta is not completely perfect, he takes birth in the material world again. So he's saying the Lord doesn't need to take birth. But people like us, we have to take birth if we are not perfect. But in a very exalted position, either in a rich family or a family of the purest Brahmana. Suchinam Srimatam Gehe. Just to finish his development in spiritual consciousness. So it doesn't mean, I don't think just because you can slack off and then hope to take birth in a purest Brahmana home. No, it is, if you try so hard and you just miss, then you are just like Bharat Maharaj. We are not in that level. So we cannot think that we will get a great family or whatever. Unless the Lord decides. But anyway, we cannot put your bet like that, Those who have completed the course of Krishna consciousness and are free from material desire return to the abode of the Supreme Personality of God. So you have to be free from material desire. And then you can say, I have a good chance. But if you have, like somebody was saying, right, even if you have a taste for a mango or something, you still have to come back. But I still think if that's the only desire you have, the Lord is, for us, at least in Kali Yuga, He'll say it's okay. He'll give you a nice mango in the spiritual world. Huh? Mahaprabhu. Yeah. Madhumangalam.
So mango taste, I mean, people who are pure devotees, they don't have taste.
Why do you mean?
So like, how do we get rid of it completely? I mean,
No, everything we taste, we offer to Krishna and taste.
so that way it is fine.
Yeah, if you think of prasadam, it's okay. But if you are just thinking only of mango and not Krishna, that's different. But we are thinking all the wonderful offering we give Krishna, how I'll miss taking those, that's different.
He chastised his son.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he never
Never
touched
to mango all his life.
That's a ripe mango, no? Not green mango. Anyway, some people say that.
But almost everything is a material desire.
Mostly,
Like if you want to sit in a nice seat,
yeah.
like a soft cushion like that, that's also a desire.
Yeah, but
Instead
then
of
if you're
sitting on the
doing
hard floor.
service,
Yeah.
then it's okay.
So that thought should come first before.
Yeah.
No, even if you're going for preaching and then you're going to give a pravachan, if you're sitting on a
Praise.
thorn seat, how can you preach properly, right? So you can demand, I want a proper seat, So that's okay. Yeah, it's for preaching. Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe.
But then we can add everything. This is for preaching, this is for
So you have
preaching.
to see,
Hmm.
right? You can say like that.
Oh,
but
I need a very good car to preach.
no, that's ridiculous. You know already that's ridiculous. Right? You can't say I need only a BMW. But Prabhupada said in a conversation with a news reporter, they were saying why you were driven in a Rolls Royce. Then he mentioned about representing Krishna. And the one who gives the Supreme Lord deserves more than just this. So they kept quiet. Yeah.
The Gaudiya Mutt back in beginning of 20th century, they had cars. And then they say preachers can go and use it for preaching, but he had a rule that if you're going for personal reasons, you cannot use it. He had a detailed rule in the matter.
Right, in Vrindavan, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur was riding a big Bentley car. Nobody at that time, a sannyas won't even do such thing. But he was going to the city, meeting the commissioners and all, governor and stuff. Big preaching, yeah. So according to the level you're preaching, you have to represent properly also. You cannot, Prabhupada also always was properly dressed, nice tilak, no beard like that. Nowadays, a fashion, now all the kids are growing beard in ISKCON.
Earlier, this growing beard was considered as austerity.
Yeah.
Now it is.
But it's not an authority anymore.
Times changed.
There's a lot of, Prabhupada says, a lot of letters. He says only Muslim people grow beard. And he says men grow beard to attract women. That's what Prabhupada says. So it's not proper. Yeah. So we should apply the principles, not out of context. Though. Yeah. As a guru, you can chastise your disciple and demand something from them if you know they can do it. But if you are nobody, then you should not. You should be careful. The guru has a right to train. So you can say, why you cook for me like that? Go back and cook again. So that the guru is training, so that's okay. But you are visiting someone and then they cook and you didn't like it, then you can say, please cook again. You can't demand. You take a humble person and say, I'm full, I've had enough. Like that. So it's like that. Yeah. Right? Text 13. Vairānubandha etavan amrityo iha dehinam ajnana prabhavo manyo aham mano pabrimhita. Hiranyakashipu's anger against Lord Vishnu persisted until his death. Other people in the bodily concept of life maintain anger only because of false ego and the great influence of ignorance.
This is real anger.
Real anger.
He's not under the mode of ignorance.
So basically, most of our anger is temporary, but his was. Okay, so Prabhupada says, generally speaking, even though the conditioned soul is angry, his anger is not perpetual but temporary. It is due to the influence of ignorance. Hiranyakashipu, however, maintained his enmity and his anger against Lord Vishnu until the point of death. So at every moment he was angry with Narayan, Vishnu, for killing his brother. So angry, He never forgot his vengeful attitude toward Vishnu for having killed his brother Hiranyaksha. So attached to his brother. And then, remember, after his brother was dead, he went and preached to his mothers and wives about the soul and karma and all. And still he can't give up. Others in the bodily concept of life are angry at their enemies, but not at Lord Vishnu. Hiranyakashipu, however, was everlastingly angry. He was angry not only because of false prestige, but also because of continuous enmity toward Vishnu. That's interesting, enmity. Continuously angry. Wow. Can't even sleep, no? Like Kamsa. Kamsa also. 24/7 fear.
Krishna conscious.
But in the wrong way. Therefore, it's not considered pure devotional service. Text 14. Pitha prarada putraste Tadvidvan dvijavatsalaha Sammayu dvijalingebhyo Devebhyo datsayachitaha. The father Virochana, the son of Maharaj Prahlad, was very affectionate toward Brahmanas, although he knew very well that it was the demigods who had come to him in the dress of Brahmanas. At their request, he delivered to them the duration of his life. So the demigods came as Brahmanas and said, what charity you want? I want your life. So he gave up.
He's giving a hint.
Huh?
He's priming him up, giving a hint.
So it's interesting, right? He knew these were their enemies and yet he was willing to give his life. So such an exalted person actually. Text 15. The reason is they could not fight with Virochana. Very powerful person. Text 15. Bhavana charitan dharman
Bhavana-charitan dharman
astito grihamedibihi
astito grihamedibihi
brahmanai purvajai surai
brahmanai purvajai surai
anyaschodama kritibihi.
anyaschodama kritibihi.
You also have observed the principles followed by great personalities who are householder brahmanas, by your forefathers, and by great heroes who are extremely famous for their exalted activities.
So what is Virochana Maharaj's story? Like the Brahmanas come and ask for his life.
The demigods came as brahmanas and asked for his life.
Because they could not fight him, they
Yes.
begged him
Yes.
to give up his life.
Yeah, just like when Jarasandha, right? They wanted to fight him. Krishna and Arjuna and Bhima went as brahmanas.
Brahmana.
And he saw and he started laughing. He said, Brahmanas don't have big bodies. So he said, actually, what you want? And because you asked as a form of Brahmana, I will fulfill your desire for fighting. So that's how it was. You can see the chivalrous nature and the etiquette they follow. Very, very high standard. Nowadays, people are low class. That's the difference you can see. So they were very good to the Brahmanical community, at least after Hiranyakashipu. Even though he was treating them harshly, but the others from Prahlad Maharaj onwards, they were very, very kind to the Brahmana community, treating them very nicely. Text 15. Bhavana charitan dharman
Bhavana-charitan dharman
astito grihamedibihi
astito grihamedibihi
brahmanai purvajai surai
brahmanai purvajai surai
anyaschodama kirtibihi.
anyaschodama kritibihi.
You also have observed the principle followed by great personalities who are householder brahmanas, by your forefathers, and by great heroes who are extremely famous for their exalted activities. Text 16. Tasmat tvatto mahim isha
Tasmat tvato mahimisha
Rineham varadarshava
vineham varadashava
Padani trini daitendra
Padani trini daitendra
Sammitani padamama.
sammitani padamama.
King of the Daityas, from your majesty, who come from such a noble family and who are able to give charity munificently, I only ask 3 paces of land to the measurement of my steps. So here starts his con job. Text 17. Nanyate kamaye rajan
Nanyate kamaye rajan
Vadanya jagat ishvara
Vadanya jagadishvara
Naina prapnoti vai vidvan
Naina prapnoti vai vidvan
Yavadartha pratigraha.
Yavadartha pratigraha.
O King, controller of the entire universe, although you are very munificent and are able to give me as much land as I want, I do not want anything from you that is unnecessary. If a learned Brahmana takes charity from others only according to his needs, he does not become entangled in sinful activities. So it's
He's
now
not
teaching how to beg. You shouldn't take more than necessary. So Prabhupada says a Brahmana or sannyasi is qualified to ask charity from others, but if he takes more than necessary, he is punishable. Not for himself. So we ask, but we want to build a temple and so on. That's for the deities and for the Lord, but not for personal use. No one can use more of the Supreme Lord's property than necessary. Lord Vamanadev indirectly indicated to Bali Maharaj that he was occupying more land than he needed. In the material world, all distresses are due to extravagance, which is true. Right? You eat too much, you'll be sick. You enjoy too much, you will be sick. Anything you do too much is sick. No? Everything should be balanced. That is yoga. One acquires money extravagantly and also spends it extravagantly. Such activities are sinful. So people say Like the CEOs, they're getting 100 million, 200 million. Then they say they'll buy an island and do what? Go there and play golf, with an iron stick and hit a ball, and they think it's so great.
Twice a
These
year.
are all sinful. Huh?
Two times a year.
2 times a year.
Occupying more land than needed.
Yes.
Like the chairman of Dell, Michael Dell, he went to Utah or someplace, bought 10,000 acres of land because he has the money. He bought like big tract of land.
See, one shouldn't take more than necessary.
There was an article that says the top billionaires in United States, they own, they're like only 4 or 5 individuals. They own most of the ranches in entire America. This is like you're talking about tens of thousands of hectares in Idaho, Wyoming, and all these places.
That's why they are billionaires.
Huge amounts of land, including in your forest reserve and federal reserve areas.
It's no nonsense. That's why we have so much problem. So then Prabhupada says this principle especially be followed by brahmanas and sannyasis who live at the cost of others. Thus Vamanadev was an ideal beggar, for he asked only 3 paces of land. Of course, Prabhupada says there's a difference between his footsteps and those of an ordinary human being. Because he will display his inconceivable potency. Alright, text 18. Shri Baliruvacha Aho Brahmana Dayada Vachaste Vidasammataha Kambalo Balishamati Swartam Prati Abudo Yatha. Bali Maharaj said, O son of a Brahmana, your instructions are as good as those of learned and elderly persons. Nonetheless, you are a boy and your intelligence is insufficient. Thus, you are not very prudent in regard to your self-interest. Actually, the Lord is there not for his self-interest, he's there for Bali Maharaj's self-interest. So that is the main point here. He doesn't need all this land. So Prabhupada writes in the middle of the purport, Bali Maharaj rightly said that Lord Vamanadev was not at all prudent in regard to his own personal interests. Lord Vamanadev had approached Bali not for his personal welfare, but for the welfare of his devotees. So he cares for Bali Maharaj. Devotees sacrifice all personal interests to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and similarly the Supreme Lord, although having no personal interest, can do anything for the interests of his devotees. He'll go out of his way. One who is full in himself has no personal interests, not full of himself. Okay? Yeah.
But assuming that these people say donate whatever the land they have, the charity, whoever has land, right? He was mentioning. But then according to law of charity, they'll get more even.
That's all right.
So it's never ending actually.
Yeah, but it's maybe not the same life, next life, something like that. It's piety. If they give in charity, it's a universal rule that they will get something in return. It's a piety, punya.
The Brahmanas are also supposed to both accept
And
give
in charity.
whatever is extra, you give it. That's
Yeah,
7th
they-
canto Narada Muni
Yeah.
explains.
They will only take what they need. So sometimes the kings will give the whole country they conquered to the Brahmanas. The Brahmanas will take thank you, and then they'll say, now you rule it on behalf of us. And they'll say, just give us a small land to take. That's how they are. They should not take more than what they need. And that was some of the problems, like Dronacharya, was a Brahmana, but then he took half the property of his Drupads. So then the whole thing became a messy relationship, Both parties hate each other and they hate until the time they die. So it's sad, but that's how it happens. Text 19. Mam vachobi samaradhya lokanam ekam ishwaram padatrayam vriniteyo buddhiman dvipada shushma. I'm able to give you an entire island because I'm the proprietor of the 3 divisions of the universe. You have come to take something from me and have pleased me by your sweet words, but you are asking only 3 paces of land. Therefore, you are not very intelligent. How buddhima. Selling the Lord, you're not smart. He doesn't understand how smart the Lord is.
Beginning of all
Yeah.
insulted Brahman.
Not quite. Yeah, you can say he's insulting a Brahman. So Prabhupada says, according to Vedic understanding, he talks about the universe. It's considered to be an ocean. Okay. In that ocean, there are innumerable planets, and the planets are called dvipa or islands. So sometimes they are shaped in different ways, but sometimes they are even circular, flat, flat earth theory. When approached by Lord Vamanadev, Bali Maharaj is actually in possession of all the dvipas or islands in space. That means he was controlling the 3 layers plus the Swargaloka. But because Lord Vamanadev only asked 3 paces of land, Bali Maharaj considered him not very intelligent. Right? Generally, that's you go to a millionaire, billionaire, and then you say, just give me your iPod. I'm okay with it. I don't need anything else. Then the guy will think there must be something in my iPod. Right? People think like that. So Bali Maharaj is kind of surprised. Why is he not asking more? Because everyone is asking a lot. This boy didn't ask. So he's kind of thinking out loud. You must not be so smart. Text 20. Napuman mam upavrajya
Namam upavrajya
bhuyo yachitum arhati
Bhuyachitumarhati
tasma vrittikarim bhumim
Tasmadritrikarim bhumim
vato kamam pratichame.
Vatokamam pratichame.
Oh, small boy, one who approaches me to beg something should not have to ask anything more anywhere. Therefore, if you wish, you may ask from me as much land as will suffice to maintain you according to your needs. Text 21. Shri Bhagavan Vacha
Sri Bhagavan Vacha
Yavanto Vishaya Prishta
Yavanto Vishaya Presha
Trilokyam Ajitendriyam
Trilokyam Achitendriyam
Na Shaknuvanti Te Sarve
Na Shaknuvanti Te Sarve
Patipurayitum Nirpa.
Tripurayutam Kripa.
Personality of Godhead said, "Oh my dear King, even the entirety of whatever there may be within the 3 worlds to satisfy one's senses cannot satisfy a person whose senses are uncontrolled." That is a fact, You can get everything, but you still may not be satisfied.
It happened with Jeff Bezos when he lost the $10 billion contract
Mm.
to Microsoft. He was very unhappy,
Mm.
although he's the richest man in the world.
Yeah.
He crossed Bill Gates, but he was not happy. Like he was making statements, they cheated, they took the business unnecessarily.
Yeah, whatever it is, but you can see, the statement is so true. Cannot satisfy a person whose senses are uncontrolled. So much we have to, therefore, control our senses, practice properly. Otherwise, this material world will take us away from self-realization, as Prabhupada mentions. Anyone who is in this material world is extremely anxious to get more and more things for sense gratification. Actually, however, the purpose of life is not sense gratification, but self-realization. So therefore, to begin, we have to do all this, chant, don't eat rajasic food, tamasic food, eat sattvic food. All this will help us reduce our sense enjoyment. And then when we worship nicely, that attachment to enjoying our senses will go away. Just like Rishabh says, right? People are always thinking of how to enjoy their senses. And generally, you cannot fulfill your senses. You cannot fulfill. So what happens is you become crazy for enjoying more and more. Because you cannot. It doesn't fulfill it. Only serving Krishna, then you get satisfied. And it's a fact.
Ghee.
Huh?
Pouring ghee in fire.
Pouring ghee in fire, or feeding the snakes milk, like that. So therefore, even Rishabdev says it's not befitting an intelligent man to involve himself in the activities of sense gratification. So then in the next paragraph, Prabhupada writes, according to Rishabdev, the human beings in this material world are just like madmen. You can see that. Engage in activities which they should not perform, but which they do perform only for sense gratification. Right? You can see for old people, they sell the Viagra, what is that, all those medicine. But they can't even stand up straight. Why they need to continue with the sex life? So these are the things, unnecessary. They become mad. Such activities are not good because in this way one creates another body for his next life. So they take birth as dogs and cats to enjoy sex life. And they take birth in a body as a punishment, Prabhupada says, for nefarious activities, something that is not recommended, against Shastra. To teach this highest culture, in the next paragraph, Varnashram Dharma is recommended. Because a lot of people cannot control their senses, in the Varnashram system, they can help each other. Brahmanas give education, Kshatriyas protection, Vaishyas agriculture, cow protection, Shudras support all the others. Then you have the Brahmachari Grihastha Vanaprastha Sannyas, so that they can all help each other to control the senses, and the keyword is be content with the bare necessities. You don't need a lot. That's the point. Why you need so much? How much can you enjoy actually? Right? Even if it's the most wonderful dish somebody cook, you eat. That's all. Once the stomach is full, that's it. Even though you crave for it, you cannot eat it anyway. And even if you try, you will get sick. So it's very important to understand, this point several times Prabhupada mentions throughout the Bhagavatam. Control the senses and be content, be satisfied. These are the words he keeps using it.
Like the Romans, they became so degraded. Once their tummy is full, they want to eat more, so they would forcefully make themselves puke.
Yeah.
So that they can eat again.
Bulima.
Romans.
Bulima. It's called bulima. To throw
Extremely
up.
Throw up and again eat.
Yeah.
So they're not what they threw out.
No, I understand.
Yeah. But so their tummy is empty. Extremely, before they collapsed, their civilization.
Form of yoga. Throwing up. Horrors, Yeah, that is sinful actually. You don't want to give to others and you only want to eat everything. That's like that. Like there's so much chandan you don't want to share, so you put every part of your body. That's a saying like that. So in the next, bare necessities. So therefore, Vamanadev is refusing on that basis. He says, no, I don't want anything more. I'm satisfied with what I need. I don't need extra things. Extra things means problem. So later on in that same paragraph, Prabhupada says, the Krishna consciousness movement towards the end is therefore establishing various farms, especially in America, to show how to be happy and content with minimum necessities of life. We still have to see that. And to save time for self-realization, which one can very easily achieve by chanting the Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
So this farm project is still in the infancy, because I think we haven't hit the right combination of all. Because you have 2 or 3 people in the farm and 60 or 70 people in the city, devotees. So there's an imbalance. Then you have too many cows, nobody there to milk the cows. And even if you have a machine, then someone has to watch the machine so that it doesn't pull in the blood in the milk. So it's an experiment in process.
But in other parts of the world, it seems to be okay.
I
Like
don't
in
know.
India,
I don't know.
in Nandagram, where I went, I actually went
Where?
to see it
Nandagram in India?
in Gujarat. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
So there, whatever you mentioned, one person is functioning as Brahmana, couple of them are functioning as Kshatriya.
They're dividing the
There are a lot
varnas.
of
Okay, so they're starting with one.
yeah, they're
Growing
starting.
their own crops, cloth, oil, everything.
And they have their own Gurukul process.
Yeah,
So-
just like in Hungary, the farm also they do. No electricity,
Yeah, Nandagram also no electricity.
there's no soaps also.
no soap,
No soap also.
no washing.
And one of my god sisters writing a book,
Same.
Electricity Kills Civilization.
Yeah,
She's saying because before electricity, people used to sleep early, and now it is killing.
maybe, but then Prabhupada said Nirbandha Krishna something.
Yeah, but we have taken it too far.
Yeah, so you have to know.
Till 11 o'clock in the temple, we are hanging around.
Better hang in the temple than in
No,
a pub or somewhere. Next 22. Trivikramer asantusto.
Trivikramer asantusto.
Dvipena pina pujate.
Dvipena pina pujate.
Navavarsha sametena.
Navavarsha sametena.
Saptadvipa varechaya.
Saptadvipa varechaya.
If I were not satisfied with 3 paces of land, then surely I would not be satisfied even with possessing one of the 7 islands consisting of 9 varshas. Even if I possess one island, I would hope to get others. Yeah, you want more and more. This is true. Greed, You think, I should have asked for more.
Mm-hmm.
That's what will happen. Yeah? That thought will come immediately. If I had asked more, he would have given me. I missed it.
The lamentation.
Yeah, then you become lamenting, then you are like a Shudra, not a Brahmana.
And Gopal Krishna Maharaj, when he was building one of the temple in Delhi, he goes to one businessman and says, आपके हैसियत के हिसाब से कम 2 लाख देना चाहिए. Means according to your status, at least you should give 2 lakhs. And then he was a very big businessman. He said, Maharaj, ye kya puch rahe ho? You should ask more from me because I have a lot more. And they actually give more.
That's good. Yeah, that's an honest business.
Maybe dishonest in his business, but here he is.
Oh, that's honest.
He's
He's willing to be honest like that. That's good. Text 23. Saptadvipādipatayo.
Saptadvipādipatayo.
Nirpavanya gayadayaha.
Nirpavanya gayadaha.
Artai kamai gatanantam.
Artai kamai gatanantam.
Krishnaya yatina shutam. We have heard that although powerful kings like Maharaj Prithu and Maharaj Gaya achieved proprietorship over the 7 dvipas, they could not achieve satisfaction or find the end of their ambitions.
Actually, this applies all the way from young age, right? Like when I see
Training.
Hari and other kids also, after playing one game, immediately they want to play the second game since the childhood, like 2-3 years old. And even now in the temple, they take their father's cell phone. Father is listening to class.
They are playing.
And they are playing.
So the fathers and mothers shouldn't allow this. But that's
and
how
then they fight. After that, the fight is about you played 3 games, I only played 2. So I have to also play 3 games.
Anyway, this we leave it to the parents.
Mm-hmm.
Text 24. Yadrichayo papanena.
Yadrichayo papanena.
Santusto vartate sukham.
Santusto vartate sukham.
Na santustas tribirloke.
Na santustas tribirloke.
Jitatmo pasaditai.
Jitatmo pasaditai.
One should be satisfied with whatever he achieves by his previous destiny, but discontent can never bring happiness. A person who is not self-controlled will not be happy even with possessing the 3 worlds. It's a fact. Prabhupada says, if happiness is the ultimate goal of life, one must be satisfied with the position in which he is placed by Providence. So whatever you have, be pleased. Don't, like I was saying, people like to go looking for challenges. Right? You get a nice job, you're not happy. It's not challenging. And then you go to a job and then it's too challenging. Anxiety. And then you say, I wish I was in my old job. So that's nonsense. So that's what's his point here. Be satisfied with the position in which you are placed by providence. So even Prahlad Maharaj says the same thing Prabhupada says. And then in the 6th chapter in Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada quotes the verse, in the spiritually joyous state, one is situated in boundless transcendental happiness and enjoys himself through transcendental senses, not otherwise. Right? Whereas we are trying to enjoy through the material senses. And if you do that, you're never going to be satisfied because the senses are like snakes or like fire.
Fire.
And you pour ghee, it just gets more and more strong.
Come on its own accord.
Right. So the best thing Prabhupada says is to please the spiritual senses of the Supreme Lord. Therefore he quotes this verse from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Sarvopadi vinimuktam tatparadvena nirmalam. Rishikena rishikesha sevanam bhakti uchit. So when you engage in the service to Rishikesh, then the senses become peaceful. Because the Lord satisfies the senses of the living entity. He feels completely peaceful. But when you are trying to enjoy materially, the senses are not able to be satisfied. Because everything is temporary. But when you satisfy Krishna, it is a permanent satisfaction. So that is the difference. Without this superior knowledge of sense gratification, one may try to satisfy his material senses, but happiness will never be possible. Right? Even if you want to go and watch some... who's the famous actor now? Shah Rukh Khan? Is it?
No, that was
Ranveer
old.
Singh, no, right?
Ranveer Singh. Okay, we take from Ranveer Singh. That's good. So that people want to say, how much can you see of Ranveer Singh, right? Even if right? How much? You're not satisfied, then after a while you say it's boring. Then after 1 week you say, let's watch again. Yeah, next hero.
Unless Amitabh Bachchan, he's still going.
He's still going. All of us know about it.
That's ridiculous. These guys are all 80 years old and still acting. So all these are sense gratification. You can see 80 years old and still want the fame and all the grandiose celebration of his fame and so on like that.
It's become bigger and bigger actually, right?
Yeah. Pay his bills.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's paying his bills. He got sued or something.
Yeah, he went bankrupt and then he had to again
Right.
act and repaid every single penny. That was his
Gold.
honesty in that he could have just gotten away with it, but he did pay every penny back.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
He's doing a lot of charity.
Now, but Prabhupada says, even if you try to do all this, it's on a material platform, you'll never achieve satisfaction and contentment. Then in the next paragraph, he says, according to Brahminical culture, one should be content with whatever he obtains without special endeavor.
Actually, one person said, like, yeah, I work hard because then I can give more charity. Is that a logical statement?
Prabhupada thought like that also. Prabhupada thought the same way. But Krishna never allowed him to make more money.
Depends.
Yeah. So again, whatever he obtains without special endeavor and should cultivate spiritual consciousness. So you have to cultivate spiritual consciousness
Simultaneously.
at the same time. If you want to work hard, it has to be for Krishna. Otherwise, it's useless. Should be content with what you have. Unless the Guru says, I want you to go and work, make more money. Then you have to work hard, make more money. Right? We need for building, we need for preaching, we need like every year we need $50,000 for
I
preaching.
know one couple in Silicon Valley, they do that. Every year they gave their guru $100,000.
Yeah, so that's what
Wife
I'm
and
saying.
husband put together make like
Yeah.
close to 200, 50% straight 100.
So therefore they will go back to Godhead.
Hmm.
So for that reason, yes. But otherwise, no special endeavor. Prabhupada makes it clear. Then you'll be happy. So Prabhupada says the purpose of the Krishna consciousness movement is to spread this understanding. We have to tell people what is the goal of life, to be satisfied. Of course, the government and everyone will not be happy with us because they think economy has to keep growing and growing. So that means people have to be always be greedy, otherwise it won't grow. So how to get purified all these things? Prabhupada gives a quote from Rishabh Deva again. One must, tapo divyam putraka yena sattva. One must practice austerity so that his existential position will be purified. And he will achieve unlimited blissful life.
Other statement Prabhupada makes, people who do not have scientific spiritual knowledge mistakenly think members of Krishna consciousness movements are escapists. People tell us also that, right? I mean, relatives and friends.
Yeah.
You're trying to escape because you're unable to face reality.
But then we can ask them, what is the goal of life? So based on that, they will understand that we have a purpose, not that we are escaping. They are the ones who are escaping and not facing reality. So you
Actually, they're not.
you have to explain and say you are the one.
Flip the same
Flip it,
argument.
yeah. So that's how you should tell them.
And that is truth.
We are speaking the truth.
Flip it.
Text 25. Pumsoyam samsriter hetu
Pumsoyam samsriter hetu
santosho artha kamayo
Asantosho artha kamayo
yadrichayo papanena
Yadrichayo papanena
santosho muktaye smitaha.
Santosho muktaye smitaha.
Material existence causes discontent in regard to fulfilling one's lusty desires and achieving more and more money. There you go. This is the cause for the continuation of material life, which is full of repeated birth and death. For one who is satisfied by that which is obtained by destiny is fit for liberation from this material existence. So become satisfied. Don't keep changing jobs for more and more money. Yeah. Think carefully, whenever you change job, who you doing for what, Text 26. Yadrichalava tustasya
Yadrichalava tustasya
tejo viprasya vardate
Tejo viprasya vardate
tad prashamyati asantosha
Prasanyati asantosha
ambaseva susukshani.
Ambaseva sushukshani.
A Brahmana who is satisfied with whatever is providentially obtained is increasingly enlightened with spiritual power. But the spiritual potency of a dissatisfied Brahmana decreases as fire diminishes in potency when water is sprinkled upon it. So austerity and all is the wealth of the Brahmanas. Now you understand why. So if they are just happy and just do their best, Of course, we are not talking about extremes like Sudama Vipra and so on. So you all can't be like Sudama Vipra anyway. So you need to work. So work, but then don't over endeavor.
That's why,
Quite removed from Sudama Vipra.
that's why even in charity, when there is sustenance, they have so many different gradations of maintenance. Like in the 7th canto, Rita, Amrita, Amrita, Pramrita.
Yeah.
So you start with cleaning, that is the best. Then the next bit is.
Yeah, so you have to see where you are comfortable, satisfied. As long as you have a house, place to eat, cook, peaceful is enough, right? Like, someone can say this is not good enough. I need a, even though this is 3-bedroom, they'll say I need a better 3-bedroom house, right? There are people like that. Or they'll say this neighborhood not is the best neighborhood. I want to buy downtown, 3-bedroom house. Yeah, so these are unnecessary. Unnecessary. And then they have to work so hard. Let's say the house here is 1 million, there in the city will be 6 million.
A lot of devotees want to stay close to the temple, which is a very laudable goal. But this city is a very nasty city. Everything is so expensive.
Yeah.
And they are working so hard to pay the bill. Like buying an 851 million home means monthly payment is $5,000. Almost 60-65% of income goes just for mortgage. They don't even own the house.
Yeah. So you have to think carefully, Is it really worth the endeavor?
And I told one or two people like that, you're risking your entire life just to pay the mortgage. But they said, no, we have to stay near the temple. Laudable goal, but they're risking themselves.
Not
Because
only that,
Mm.
they may say that, but how much are they coming to the temple, taking
serve,
association, to
Mm.
serve, A lot of people come close by, but then you hardly see them.
Mm.
Yeah. Right? They come close and then you can't see them at all. Yeah. I know in our place, so many people live close by.
in Houston.
Yeah, and they never come. You only have we have like 20 people who come for Mangala Arati, but otherwise, festival day they may come. Sometimes even on festival day you don't see them. Appearance day, or some Acharya, Bhakti Siddhanta, or even Prabhupada's, you can't see them. Disappearance day. Or even their own Guru's Vyasa Puja, you don't see them.
Their appearance.
Their appearance.
Yeah, exactly.
But their birthday, they are there.
So you can see, it's very difficult. What Vamanadev is saying is very important. Very difficult for people to be satisfied with what they have.
Srimad Bhagavatam is at this level and our behavior is at this level, even though we keep hearing.
No, but being satisfied hasn't got to do with how high you are. It's to learn to be satisfied. Like you say, when a child is doing something, the parent must guide them to be satisfied with. When we grew up, we had no toys. We had to play with our mother's pots and pans. That's all they
I
gave
made
us.
my own car, like
Yeah,
from
that's
clay.
all.
I made my
Yeah.
own car and I played with
Yeah,
it.
we had to play with the sewing, what is it? Bobbins, yeah. So we used that and
Bubbles.
play. That's all. We grew up like that. We didn't have anything. Nowadays, they all have to have all these gadgets and they have nothing here.
Magazine marbles.
Yeah, we used to play fishing with the sandals, with a string and a hook and catch the sandal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's also
Yeah, it's
for
a
that
game.
age. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's a game.
Yeah, so why buy all these gadgets for kids? There's some devotees who don't give any gadgets to the kids, and the kids are very bright. They're using their intelligence to figure out things. They're very bright. They play outside and stuff like that. Right? You don't see that much nowadays. People are ruining their own future generation. All right, last text 27. Tasmat trini padani eva.
Tasmat trini padani eva.
Vinetva varadarshava.
Vinetva varadarshava.
Etavataiva siddhoham.
Etavataiva siddhoham.
Vittam yava prayojanam.
Vittam yavat prayojanam.
Therefore, King, from you, the best of those who give charity, I ask only 3 paces of land. By such a gift, I shall be very pleased, for the way of happiness is to be fully satisfied to receive that which is absolutely needed. And he's speaking the truth also. Text 28. Sri Sukha Vacha. Yukta Sahasanaha. Vanchata Pratigriyatam. Vamanaya Mahindatum. Jagraha Jalabhajanam. Sukadeva Goswami continued. When the Supreme Personality of Godhead had thus spoken to Bali Maharaj, Bali smiled and told him, all right, take whatever you like. To confirm his promise to give Vamana Deva desired land, he then took up his water pot. So that is a contract. That means I promise. Okay. So we will stop here. Tomorrow we will finish the chapter. Okay. Text 29. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam